3 attacks in 24 hours against strategic locations inside of the state of Israel. Halting air traffic at Ben Gurion airport, targeting the occupied Jaffa area, hypersonic ballistic missiles, the lead port, and another strategic location. One of the missiles was called the Al-Faqar missile, and another one was another hypersonic missile that they did not disclose the name of. Again, when were they carrying out the attack? On top of the head of the Arabs sitting with Donald Trump and giving him billions while he was milking them. Without them doing a thing to stop seriously. Don't tell me about talking about something significant to stop the genocide inside of the Gaza Strip. Yemen, fiercely, time after time, and Israel doesn't have an answer. They're conducting attacks in Yemen, exercising theatrics in Yemen, targeting places that burn for a very long time, oil fields, Sana'a airport, and then, a cement building because there's a lot of ashes and smoke coming out. So they can show that we're here and we're targeting them. Is that stopping the attacks against you? No. Is your genocide campaign in Gaza with levels of TNT landing on Gaza 5 times greater than what landed in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, more than World War II and one combined? And let's not even get started with statistics about what these murderers do. You're not touching Yemen too. Yemen are still able to make you stand on one foot and go in your bunkers and hide like rats in fear and panic. I mean, when Iran attacked Israel, it was like a bigger thing. Netanyahu was shaking at that time. But now, don't forget that these are very effective. And Israel has no answer. And guess what? No US cover too. Why? Because Ansarullah in Yemen were very effective in attacking the terrorist US forces, aka the genocide cartel, and expelling them from the region, therefore detaching them from Benjamin Netanyahu. Because America said, okay, that's enough. There's so much I'm willing to kind of sacrifice for the sake of Benjamin Netanyahu. If it weren't for the Yemeni attacks against the aircraft carriers of the United States would have carried on, by the way. And it's very important to contextualize all of that. It's not just some sort of a deal that came between the United States. No. The United States has been talking with them for a very long time because they preferred to kind of force them but through scaring them, right? Up until it reached the stage where Donald Trump himself said, yeah, these people are actually brave. We hit them really hard, but and then I trust their word and whatever. He's saying, I trust their word, and they say, we don't trust his word. We're going to keep monitoring him. By the way, don't think the Yemenis, no. They have their eyes on them. They have their eyes on them very well. Iran too, they're sending them footage. Just in case, just in case you're trying to play around. We know what to do. Yemen is prepared. And they told Trump, if you come and attack us, based on any pretext, under any pretext, we have you on target in the Red Sea. Any of your aircraft carriers will be burning. Don't forget, of course, the damage against the aircraft carriers of the United States. That's something very significant too. Now, is that making an impact in Israel? Of course it's making an impact in Israel, but what they've been doing for the past year and a half is pretending like things are normal. Acting. Like they acted and, came up with this pseudo-state, pseudo-nationality, fake history, fake everything. They're acting now and pretending this to be fun, but things are not really fine for them. As a matter of fact, more and more airlines are, that's it, suspending flights, extending the suspensions. We spoke about many international airlines cutting the all of the trips, getting rid of their slots in Ben Gurion airport, slots that are hard to kind of secure, by the way. Don't forget that. Slots in airports is something important. And they're pretending, like, yeah, we're intercepting the iron foam and David's thing and whatever they call them. Not effective. Clearly not effective against the Yemeni missiles. Now, lots of talk about this American-Israeli terrorist, Aidan Alexander, who went from America to Israel to participate in a genocidal army and was imprisoned by the Palestinian resistance. And don't no one dare say hostage, please. Okay, he was imprisoned as a terrorist in a terrorist army by a totally legitimate Palestinian resistance. He was released, and many people are talking about him, and he is humiliating Netanyahu. Not now, Prime Minister, I'm not available to meet you. He is sending thanks to Donald Trump, reports that he's going to go to Qatar as well. And many people are talking about Aidan Alexander. Not many are showing sympathy, by the way. This initial fake sympathy and force-fed sympathy, hostages 24/7. Now it's even that's dead too. But there was some surprising reports coming in the past few days. Guess what? About Israel trying to kill him because the United States wanted to release him with a direct agreement with Hamas. Occupation attempted to assassinate Aidan Alexander to sabotage the negotiations. And guess what? The Palestinian resistance, we spoke about that a month ago approximately. They said that Aidan Alexander, we don't know what's the fate of Aidan Alexander. We lost communication with him. Why? Because Israel targeted a location where they believed that Aidan Alexander was, and they were actively trying to get information about him from people, trying to bribe people, make them work with them. Where is Aidan Alexander? Where, we think they might be. And from the Israeli move, it wasn't as an intention to go and carry out a rescue operation. It was an attempt to find his location so they can carry out a strike. So they received something that was similar or an idea of where his whereabouts were, and they targeted the location. He didn't die. He wasn't killed in that strike. And the Palestinian resistance managed to get a deal. But that shows you the length that this genocidal satanic death cult is willing to go to sabotage any deal between the Palestinian resistance and the United States administration. Because they don't want deals, they want chaos. They were built on chaos, and now they've reached the pinnacle of their state of drunkenness. It's like they're drunk. They're on a massive power supremacist trip. We can kill anyone we want. We have the power to butcher children and no one can say anything. Massive craze. And they're killing their own and trying to kill the last one of them. Have they killed other prisoners of war? Of course, a third. Like they massacred their own people on the 7th of October and came up with the propaganda garbage that your fake reporters and so-called journalists were spreading left, right, and center. That even the President Biden himself at the time had to take back. Beheaded babies, you lying hypocrites. And they had the Ziowood tour, of the areas surrounding Gaza. Oh, come and see what they did. And they started to put cots with like a bullet inside or like an oven. Oh, and then they put babies in an oven. I mean, if you wanted to lie, at least come up with something that, someone, might be able to believe. But because they've been operating in the dark for such a long time, Zionism thrives in the dark. They've been exposed all at once. All of their garbage is up to the surface. Even with them trying to kill their own prisoner of war. Why? To sabotage a deal, to release him. coming from the United States of America just because they spoke directly with Hamas in spite of Benjamin Netanyahu. That's the state of Israel for you. Now, what's happening with the negotiations? Lots of talk about the negotiations and, Witkoff meeting in Doha now. They're trying to reach a deal of a different proposal. What is it exactly? There was an interesting report in Ash-Shuruq, one of it's a known Arab newspaper. They have a website too. They said that there was a direct meeting between Steve Witkoff and Hamas in Doha now, trying to get a deal. Israel was already talking about a different proposal in the past few days, a proposal that would be an advanced proposal, wouldn't be looking back, and wouldn't necessarily be great for Israel and can keep Hamas a foothold in Gaza in the future. Now, this report is saying that the United States is actually shifting its position, it's changing its position in relation to Gaza and in relation to Hamas, and now they're not pushing for Hamas to disarm as part of the negotiations. They were saying before, they need to disarm, they can't be there, Don't forget, go back last year. What was Antony Blinken saying? No talking with them. We won't talk to them. We need to get rid of them. And then we talk about it. So the Israelis and the Americans were saying that. The Americans realized that they're unbeatable, and they sat down and spoke to them. Like they sat down and spoke to the Taliban after they were giving them a beating in Afghanistan. But Israel is, of course, upset. Israel being upset isn't going to change the fact that the United States is changing its position, regardless of its complicity and its support for Israel. Now, what is the solution? Well, Steve Witkoff is saying, he's telling some of the Israeli families of the prisoners of war, we can't impose our will on Israel, but they can't impose their will on us. So there's a confirmation that there's a change of approach, different opinions, tensions coming to the surface clearly. But he's trying to pretend like there is no, power for the United States to stop Israel. Lies. Big liar. You can stop Israel. You can strangle Israel tomorrow. So whereas there might be certain tensions between the United States administration and Israel, Steve Witkoff is a massive liar when it comes to we can't force them what to do. Liar. Israel doesn't exist without the United States. Israel is your creation, a British creation. Initially, you took over that creation for your own interest and geopolitical purposes in the area to divide the Arab states and cause frictions and problems, typical neo-colonialism, and now you have the responsibility. It's an excuse coming from the American administration to show that, we're not capable. Shut up. You've been arming them for the past several decades. The bombs that are landing on Gaza are American bombs. MK-84, all of them. American. So the United States has the capacity to stop Israel. The reason that they are not stopping them is because they don't want to stop them. That's the conclusion. There are differences. Yes, there are talks, different opinions, but they don't want to stop them yet. Because if they wanted to stop them, they would put their foot down. And if the United States puts its foot down, it will stop Israel.